Hello there, folks, and welcome to ZSR. We have gotten a link. That is the wrong thing for me to have clicked. Whoops. Oh, it's that kind of day. I apologize. And welcome, everybody. Let's get the correct scene loaded. Sorry, I'm an idiot. That is why you will be hearing from some very competent comms here. Take it away, folks.
Yeah, hope everybody's doing well today. Got another match of Link to the Past tournament here. V0oid versus oneup. Forget where in the brackets they are. This bracket page is too big.
This is winners bracket round 4, according to our title here. So that's where we are.
That would require me to read. Can't have that.
But yeah, we are getting ready for another match in this tournament. I said winners bracket round 4. This is going to be an interesting one. These two runners actually played together in the group stage, and they're going to meet again in the brackets.
Yeah, and V0oid did PB recently. He had a 125.49, which is really good. And oneup is currently at 127.05, so a little bit more than a minute between them in terms of PB. But ultimately, the run isn't decided by who's got the better PB.
Exactly. And just to give you kind of an insight into how these two played the first time, in their first race in the groups, V0oid defeated oneup. V0oid had a time of 128.17, oneup at 128.38, so it was a 21-second difference between these two runners their first time.
Yeah, and really all it takes is, the faster runner does a few splits a little bit wrong, slower runner does a few splits a little bit right, and all of a sudden, they're neck and neck.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's definitely a lot that can happen in these runs that can easily decide it.
Yeah, luckily not too much early on, but definitely a lot in this run that will be decided by RNG. So,
yep. First bit of significant RNG probably won't be until Landmo, but that's about 17 minutes into the run.
Yeah, thereabouts. So until then, we're basically just gonna sit back and relax.
Yeah, I mean, the early sequence we're about to see as they're about to start is, pretty standard. There's not much to talk about, not much in terms of tricks or anything. It's just more just routing, execution, all that.
And apparently mashing execution, which is what we see the very first thing we open up here. So we get to relax, but the runners are going to be doing a good bit of mashing and a good bit of pumping, which is not too relaxing, but hey, that's the game.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. Well, we do get to, not pay too much attention. A few things to be on the lookout for. Is I mentioned pumping. You'll see them not move exactly in, diagonal directions. It's just to make Link move a little bit faster. And then just small things like not nudging around edges, picking up these bushes cleanly, getting through doors cleanly, all that kind of stuff. It's just a few frames here and there, but it does add up over, the first 6 minutes or so.
Here we have more text mashing as they're about to pick up their sword. Yeah, this is about a 6-minute starting sequence. Actually, a little less than 6 minutes ideally, but yeah, they basically just have to go through a Hyrule Castle, get the princess, and bring her to the sanctuary.
Yeah, and the other small thing here is going to be reading and reacting to the RNG. First couple of rooms here, you can see the guards are moving a little bit different for each of them, so we're just going to have to pay attention to how they respond to that.
First guard they have to get a key from. Let's see how they handle it. Very nice by both.
Yeah, slight variation in strats. What it comes down to in this game most of the time is that your strats don't really matter. Just how consistently you can pull them off, basically.
They both get around that green guard. You got to be a little careful with that green guard when you're learning the run, because if you go too low, you'll provoke it and it'll get in your way.
Yeah, getting the key here to unlock that door. Escape, pretty straightforward in how we actually get through it. What's not straightforward is this mini boss right here, ball and chain. We're going to need a combination of 8/1 or... Yeah, we're going to see 8/ from both of them here. This ball and chain guard does not like to play nice, but didn't hit either of them, so excellently done. A few clinks, so lost a small amount of time, but the damage is really the big thing there.
You have to be a little careful on that, because if you start to take damage, a couple hits, and you could find yourself normally restarting the run button here, you'd be significantly behind.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's a few seconds. Not the end of the world if it goes poorly. Really, the danger is dying later in Escape, but that happens so rarely, we don't really consider it.
That's fair. So as we're going through Escape, to give a little more context for this race in terms of the brackets, winner of this race is going to go on to face This Is Not Yoho, who is also in their group. And the loser of the race will face the winner between Liam Atlas and Someone325 in the losers brackets. Well, so far they've been about even. V0oid slightly ahead, but for the most part they've been matching each other.
Yeah, just a couple of second difference here, which is pretty much the upper bound of what we expect in the Escape sequence here. There's just really not enough that can go terribly wrong or terribly right to get worried about.
Got a little bit of RNG coming in these rooms with the ropes and then the key rat.
V0oid taking a small hit there. Going for Snake Gamble. That saves 15 frames if the one snake is not in your way, which it wasn't there, so cool.
Yep, next up we got the key rat coming here. Usually not too bad, but once in a while it'll get away from you.
Yeah, really that typically happens if all the rats kind of bunch up and then the drops get all funky, but we didn't see that here. They got similar RNGs, so similar time loss. Well, time not lost? I don't know. However you want to say it.
Well, yeah, oneup is caught up a little bit, and they're pretty much synced up going up those stairs.
Taking a hit from the rat there. It is faster if you can avoid it, but if you try to diagonal a little bit too soon, that will happen. Oneup slashed instead, which guarantees it doesn't happen. Oneup took the rat hit, but did not slash the sword, so will not get rat frames, which is unfortunate. They save like a second.
We got more text mashing.
And as expected, both runners picking up the Sanctuary Heart here. It is both a heart upgrade and a refill, which is really nice. We didn't take too much damage, so the health refill not the biggest thing here, but this overworld is rough sometimes, so the extra health is always great.
Yeah, most runners will pick up that heart. When you start getting into the upper limits, when you start pushing for like some of the top times, you'll see runners start skipping the Sanctuary Heart, but in this tournament, you will rarely see that, if ever.
I think we've only seen a couple of runners skip it because, yeah, like you said, I mean, you saw Void take a hit, lost a full heart. It's also a health refill, so being low and then taking a little bit of extra damage is not what you want. Dying, believe it or not, is pretty slow.
Yeah, I would definitely believe that.
But yeah, through the dangerous parts of the overworld here, didn't take too much damage, but always a little bit concerning, I guess, that you take a little bit. Oh, Void trying to pump a little too hard, missed the stairs. So the dangers of pumping.
You're talking about health. It's actually important to keep that in mind because of one of the tricks that we are going to see in Eastern that's coming up shortly. They're both good on health, but they will need to keep at least 2 hearts. Ideally more.
Hopefully more.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully more.
Yeah. Like you said, you're going to take some damage. We're going to take a heart and a half at minimum. Sometimes you get unlucky and it's going to take a little bit longer. So Void skipped the first heart there, which loses like 4 frames to pick up, and went for the second one. And probably the reason for that is because if the Stalfos drops magic and you boomerang both the heart and the magic, you actually will save time. So it's like a free heart pickup. But in the event that the Stalfos does not drop magic, which is what happened here, loses 10 to 13 frames or so.
Yeah, I would say that's probably due to the fanfare at the end when the magic meter's being refilled. You get a little less of a refill then.
Yeah, and there's the magic drop, but going out of your way to get it is usually not worth it. So you can see just kind of skipping it. 1UP getting the red rupee, in great shape for rupees for the rest of forever. If only you could carry it over to future runs. That would be real nice.
That would. Here we're going to see them do their damage boost.
Nicely done from both of them.
So the basic behind that trick is they take the damage from the Popo, and then they use that to grab the pots from the middle of that group, take another heart of damage, and then use those frames to hit the switch.
Yeah, and it's actually more difficult than it looks. And sometimes the game doesn't cooperate, so like we said, nicely done there.
They have to grab the key in here. That was a little close there for both of them, but it actually moved the right way. If that moves up right, it'll intercept your arrow, and that'll cost you some time.
Yeah, it's actually not even faster to shoot low on the Igor like that because you have time to kind of position higher on the Igor before shooting the arrow. And you kind of want to be as high as possible later in the room. But that's an excellent Zelda Gamer room from both of them, which is exactly what you want to see. No red drop on Void's side, so money is going to be a little bit lower, but arrows look good for both of them. Seeing the classic upright strat here from both, 5 arrows into the top right, and then 13 down here. You want to move down a little bit to save a little bit of time. Void with 1 arrow for the wall to even up the arrow count.
Yeah, I just mash sometimes a little too much, and that extra arrow gets away from you. But both are through Eastern cleanly.
Yes, and now the gaming can begin. We're going to get the boots in about 30 seconds, most of which is text, and then we can actually move with a little bit of speed, and it'll be fun. And it looks like 1UP here had a gold Eastern Palace right at the 5-minute mark. 5-minute Eastern Palace with Sanctuary Heart is very good.
And we will be seeing both runners go for Tree Rupees later. They both pull off the spin speed nicely.
Yeah, Void had slightly better movement controlling the spin speed. It is pretty difficult. Link moves very quickly, either in the dashing state or in the super speed state. And a lot of time save in this game is being precise with your dashes. So being able to control that well is a big part of what we're looking for.
We're going to see another spin speed on this screen.
Very nicely done. Ooh, a little trouble getting into the library. Yeah, coming off the stairs, you know, are going slow on the stairs, and as soon as you come off, you're going a million miles an hour. So getting in is tough sometimes.
Yeah, both of them are hitting those spin speed nice. As you mentioned, V0oid just a little bit more efficient with it.
And yeah, big thing here is those spin speeds are a nice warm-up for later in the run. They don't really save too much time in total. Sometimes like 3 or 4 seconds. But a little bit later on, when we get to Death Mountain, it's going to be very important.
Absolutely. Both of them are heading towards Desert, our second dungeon.
Okay, I think oneup did movement on that screen that's actually technically optimal, but it was so awkward when I was trying to practice it and figure it out. Doesn't take a hit, which is the big danger of doing that movement. Yeah, it kind of optimizes Link slope dashing a tiny bit more. It saves like 3 to 5 frames total. And we're seeing a technically optimal strat. Oh, a little bit slow throwing the pot, but technically optimal strat in Desert Lobby there. Just has a higher risk of getting hit by the BMOS.
So both grab the keys. We're going to also see them grab arrows as they move in here. They want to have a good supply of arrows going into the Land Molus fight.
Yeah, they'll both be on 28 arrows, I suspect, going into the Land Molus fight, which is about as good as you can ask for. Getting the same cannonball RNG. Thank you, video game, for keeping it even. And yeah, Desert, even though we are going a little bit faster here, not the most interesting of dungeons. We're seeing a lot of just long dashes, not too much to worry about. You saw V0oid pick up those rupees right there. That rupee pot is about the same as getting a 4th rupee from tree pulls later on. But getting 4 rupees from the trees feels gross. So most runners will prefer to get the pot.
Alright, V0oid going for this risky spin speed. And like God, he actually lost a little time on that over oneup.
Yeah, mostly because he had to attempt it again. It saves a little more than half a second to go for it, or to get it, rather. Going for it and missing is going to end up costing you about 1 second. Oh, that's kind of a gross RNG from those popos on V0oid's side. One up with a much easier one to take care of.
But then one of the popos gets in oneup's way and costs him a little time.
Well, the good thing about this game is that, yes, there's RNG, which isn't fun, but there's so much of it, it wraps around to being fun again. Except for this boss, which is the worst.
Yeah. We'll see how these runners handle it. They want long jumps from Land Molus and not short hops.
Yeah, long hops, because it gives you more time to shoot them with arrows, and we're going to see this opening cycle right here, which looks all right on V0oid's side. Good enough. V0oid's, or one-ups was pretty decent there. Second cycle on V0oid's side, a little bit more tough. Same on one-up side, but one-up is on 1 heart.
Yeah, he's got to be careful.
Nice 4 cycle on V0oid's side. Pretty tough to consistently do better than that. Oh, one up. Good job there. Getting through. That's what we want.
So yeah, Void will come out slightly ahead here, but it's still pretty close. Neither of them, their RNG was too bad there.
And yeah, so here we're off to the Tower of Hera split, which, notorious.
Yeah, there's a lot that can go wrong in this split.
Yeah, literally everything. We see on one upside, he's already taken a heart of damage. That's pretty classic leaving desert. The movement there is precise. We see the pickle getting in Void's way. Nice fake flipper setup. Gonna get into this warp portal. Nice and easy. Excellently done.
Well, I don't know if that was intended.
Not sure map tech is ever faster, but maybe I've been lied to. Both of them threw fake flippers here, which is kind of the first maybe like heart attack check in the run. Wow, that is a rude pickle. I'm not sure I've seen that one before.
Yeah, I don't think I have either. But yeah, as you're saying, getting through the fake flippers is important just because that's one of the scarier parts in the run. Even if you've done this 1,000 times, you always hold your breath a little bit when you're doing that fake flipper.
And yeah, so here's Death Mountain. I mentioned spin speed being important. Not so important earlier, pretty important now. Yeah, look at these boulders. They are not nice. We want to get away from them as soon as possible.
Only one hit. Thankfully, the dead rocks weren't too bad. A little worse on one upside, but he gets through them too. Oh, that's going to cost him some time.
And the thing about the super speed state is that taking damage ends it. So you really do kind of want to maneuver around everything, which once again, controlling your speed, controlling your movement at this speed is very difficult. You see one up there canceling it to guarantee he gets the quick warp into the portal.
So both entering on good health. Void at 4 hearts, one up at 4.5.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'd call anything good unless I had about 12 hearts coming in here, but good enough? Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, good enough, I guess, is a good way to put it.
And yeah, here we see... Oh, nice fireballs from the Kadongos. Void switch to the boomerang. If you do everything correctly with it, it's going to save about half a second or so. But doing everything correctly often requires pressing a bunch of buttons on the same frame, which is actually impossible. So you'll see runners opt to not go for it on one upside here, which is just a little bit easier to do. And there's nothing to do in this room anyway, so it's like...
I think Void wanted a little break, but did not get it. Was slightly off on those pegs.
The main advantage of the boomerang is not having to hit the switch in that room, which keeps you a little bit safer. We're going to see one-up have to maneuver around these mini Moldorms unless they behave, which they did. Void grabs the big key, it mirrors out. We're going to see, hopefully, nice torches here on one upside. We didn't light the torches 45 times, just 4, so good job.
Now I got the hair climb. Different strats from each runner in this room, but it's just about getting through as fast as you can. We should be seeing the jump to the big chest here. A little bit of a scary jump because if you miss it, it's a big time loss.
Yeah, luckily most runners are good enough at bomb jumps that we don't really expect them to miss this one or later on the Skullwoods one. Both opting for the spin setup here, which is very consistent if you know what you're doing. I know some people have some difficulty with it because it is a little bit counterintuitive, but nicely done by both runners.
And now time for the Moldorm fights. Another fight that RNG can get you a little bit, but if you know how to do it, generally you're safe. Though, not always. Like, all one
Though
was
that
almost...
happens. Yeah, exactly. And Moldorm being on the left side is a little bit scarier too, because... Oh, okay.
Oof. Oof.
This is a speedy Moldorm, and okay, we can catch up to him, but woo! Yeah, when Moldorm doesn't like to behave, it's rough, and that allows oneup to catch up a good bit of time there with just a cleaner Moldorm.
Yes, we are near even coming out of Hera. Void with still a slight lead, but yeah, this has been a pretty close race so far.
Oh, one last spin speed. oneup, please recognize. Didn't panic. Just start your dashes, start going to the left here, and you'll be okay. We'll lose you a little bit of time. Once again, controlling super speed, harder than you think. Although I do have a tip for that particular slope. If you just hold down left the whole way through, you'll get it every time. And you won't fall off the ledge.
Now we are going to see the runners pick up their rupees for pod, as Void picks up 3 of those. OneUp only picks up 2, which is fine. The big thing is to get 110 before getting the pod, and they will pick up 5 rupees in Aga Tower.
Yeah, we're going to pick up 80 more from the second set of trees. Both of them have killed 3 of the 4 necessary enemies. That was a unfortunate bush guard, but it didn't aggro, so no worries. And here is the Master Sword, which will serve us very nicely for the next 15 minutes.
Sounds about right. Actually, looking at the splits, it's probably closer to 20.
And yes, one of the things about running this game is knowing how many text boxes there are in all of the... Oh, our first bonk of the run. Those lose about 1 second or so.
I think I heard 70 frames.
Yes, that's basically correct. Skipping the mushroom on both sides here. Yeah, that's fine. It is a very nice safety, but you know, once you start getting into the mid-low 120s for runners, they feel pretty comfortable with most screens, most bosses, most dangerous areas of the run.
Yep. I know some runners in this tournament who don't normally grab a mushroom or powder will grab it just for this tournament, but there are also a lot of runners who will just leave it behind because it does, even if you're not used to it, it can mess up your menuing, which a lot of runners don't want.
Yeah, a lot of the menus we just have memorized. Just press the button twice or something. Getting the mushroom kind of throws that off. Makes you have to think about your menus, which is probably one of the last things we want to be thinking about in this run.
Definitely. So we're both in Aga Tower. OneUp's got 9 arrows. Void's got 11.
OneUp got a poke on that guard instead of a spin. The timing for releasing the spin and getting actual spin instead of a poke is... I have no idea how big, but it's a pretty easy mistake to make.
And both killed those guards in the third room with dashes, so they are set up on their prize pools.
Alright, I don't know who designed Dark Maze, but they like to watch people suffer. Void did everything right, and the enemies were still just like, yeah, I'm gonna see you and I'm gonna hit you.
Yeah, there are definitely some spots in this game where it felt like it was more designed to torture than to just be difficult.
How did Void not block that arrow? I'm so confused. All right, Agatower, please stop. We got slightly different strats in this room. Oh, the guards get away from Void a little bit there. But a
Void,
nicer circle of pots.
Yeah, Void's guard went the correct direction, while 1UP had to deal with both guards. But coming up next is our biggest source of RNG in this run.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's not much else to say. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's a command in chat, I believe, that gives the probabilities, but basically in this Aga fights, there is a set. He basically has a 5 cycle to him. His first teleport always yields a reflectable ball. Then the next 3 will be either a reflectable orange ball or a splitting blue ball. And then the 5th will always be a lightning bolt. And you want as few of those blue balls as possible.
Yeah. Each lightning or blue ball that we get is an additional 6 seconds, so pretty punishing too, in addition to being totally RNG.
And Void's already got 2. 1UP is getting a pretty nice pattern. Ooh. I think that was 3 straight blue balls for Void. Well, 1UP gets to the first lightning with a 0.
You know, I can kind of forgive Nintendo for having a boss be just entirely counterattack stuff, but they're still doing it today, so alright, that's 5 in a row for Void.
That is just some bad luck. 2 for 1UP at this point. Finally, Void wins a coin flip there.
But, like, at least, right, make it so your attacks always connect, right?
Yeah. And that's 6 for Void. 1UP gets out with 3. Oh my... This is rough.
Okay.
That's 8!
Chill, Aga. And this is one of the kind of unfortunate things about racing this game, is this boss right here. But, alright. Only 8. Definitely is going to cost Void some time here. He's going to have to make it up. But, while Aga is the most uncontrollable time loss in the game, it's not the most potential time loss. So
yeah, there's still plenty of run. Anything could still happen, so it's not over. But 1UP is going to gain a bit of an advantage starting Dark World because of that.
And we have a couple of very difficult parts of this particular split right here, this dungeon. In about 2 minutes or so, we're going to see the hammer jump, which is a very difficult trick to pull off quickly. And then in about 2 minutes after that, we're going to see the boss fight, which is difficult to do. Who cares about
Yeah, and that boss, that can have some pretty bad RNG itself.
So yeah, it looks like about a 30 to 35 second advantage here for 1UP, leaving blue balls. But this is certainly still a race.
Yeah, plenty that can still happen. They both have to play it out. We'll see what happens.
And don't be tricked if they're in the same room in this dungeon a couple of times. We revisit a lot of these rooms. Oh, nice arrow drop on 1UP side.
Oh yeah, get a few extra arrows going into the back here. Yeah, basically the start of this is pick up a key, mirror, pick up a key, mirror, pick up a key, mirror. And then we get to the hammer jump.
And then we mirror.
Yeah.
So yeah, the mirror brings you back to the dungeon entrance, resets all the pots, which is very convenient because it lets us stock up on a lot of bombs. Avoid taking a hit there. Don't want to take any more damage because we're going to intentionally take one hit. And we do want to be full health going into the boss here. But yeah, doesn't give many opportunities.
Yeah, you could take 2 hits max before the hammer jump. Because you're going to get 3 hearts potentially from some pots coming up here. But ideally you don't take any damage until then, until the jump.
Yeah, and here we're going to see the jump on one upside. Going to try to land on the correct Y pixel. Nicely done. First one, and that one is a 1 high. Nice correction there. Only 1 extra buffer to get through it. That is fantastic.
Yeah, that was very clean. Very nicely done. While V0oid is about to attempt his jump.
Very nicely placed for the first one. Gets a convenient heart drop. That looks good. Very nicely done.
Yeah, both of them had a very clean jump there.
Now that heart drop is interesting. It'll be 1 fewer heart available to him in Turtle Rock. Sometimes 1 heart matters in that dungeon. So
Yeah, Turtle Rock, 1 heart can definitely be the difference in life and death. But as long as they have the fairy in the pool, that's the big thing, which they both still do.
Absolutely. And the main reason, well, not the main reason. The main reason we don't want to die to the boss, but a reason we want to be on full health is so we can beam that switch right there. Save a couple of menus. And on one upside, see how these turtles behave. That's how you want them to behave. Their AI is working properly when that happens, so... Alright, into the Helma fight here. It's going to take 17 hammers to break this mask. Opting for spin speed, which... if you would hammer from further away, I could tell if you got... but yep, you got it, so going to be okay. Good turtles on V0oid's side. This is a fairly friendly Helma pattern, and fantastic fight.
Yeah, that was very nice. V0oid coming up on the fight. He's going to use sword. Okay, there, he set it up now.
Like he also got it. He's far enough away that should connect. Getting a similar fireball pattern here. Nicely avoids them. I lost count. He didn't. Oh, maybe he didn't get it. Well, if he didn't, he hit a bunch of 1 pixel hit or hammers, which is even more crazy.
Yeah. They have both of them through the fights. One up still ahead.
And yeah, also one of the kind of very fun parts of this game is when both runners are in a crystal cutscene.
And One Up's having a pretty good run. Looking at his splits, I believe he's 14 seconds away or ahead of his PB.
Yeah, and that was a excellent pod. Another gold for him, about 6:12 or so, 6:13, which is a very good time. Moving into Thieves Town here. Really, there's nothing too dangerous in this split. not much we really need to worry about. And the lead is still right at around that 30-35 second mark. So still a pretty close race.
We're not even half done yet. Still plenty of time for stuff to happen.
Hopefully only good stuff. You know, I don't like saying stuff can happen in this game because it will.
That's true, yeah. Hopefully good stuff happens. Never like to see bad things happen to runners.
Yeah, just a few. Just gonna pick up this flute on our way to the Thieves Town dungeon. We have to get into the light world anyway, so hey, let's pick it up. Yeah, gonna see another spin speed. This one also pretty important. I'm not sure. Yeah, I thought I saw dash dust on one upside. There we go. Gets it this time. And the main reason is to avoid that red guard right there.
Yeah, that red guard can be very annoying if you don't get past it very quickly.
Okay. Yep. That's a very rare thing that can happen if you don't dash down low enough. That you saw on Void's side. The half heart of damage doesn't really matter, but getting hit is very irritating.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Seeing our second bonk on one upside. Bonk count is even.
Alright, next up we have Thieves Town. Intended to be the fourth dungeon, but we do it second.
Yeah, we want the dungeon item, which we can't say that for every dungeon in this game, so we do go out of our way, kind of, to get it, but main reason for that is to upgrade our sword. Like I said, we're not going to hold on to Master Sword for too long. Yeah, we're already tired of it. It's bad, and it sucks.
Yeah. And the next sword saves significant amounts of time in the run, so you want that as soon as you can get it.
Alright. On Void's side, that is technically faster to dash through those sets of bushes there, but yeah, you know, things live under bushes, guards, skulls, rupees, fairies. That particular bush occasionally houses a skull, which is really punishing.
That's annoying. Like, you get the gardeners who decide just to prevent the lynx from dashing through their bushes, and they just put a stone under them. No God Pixel here for 1-up, but he gets through that hallway pretty quickly.
Yeah. That's one of the rooms. Mentioned read and react. That's all you can really do. It never behaves.
Yeah, like you go for the pixel once. If you don't get it, just keep moving on. Don't want to waste too much time trying to get it. So
we will see an attempt on Void's side here. Gets the pixel. Gets the RNG. Gets right through.
That'll catch him up a couple seconds.
Yeah, especially after the game was as mean as possible in the overworld.
Mm-hmm.
It gives and takes.
So next up, we're gonna see these runners pick up the maiden. I know somebody usually does trivia, but I didn't prep anything for this.
Same.
Yeah, sorry.
All right, here's the deal. Everybody in chat post their trivia questions. Nobody answers, and we'll be good. Nice arrow drop on Void's side. Wow. Sure. He was unaware that Red Berry could be sparking, and that's it. Oop. All right, game. Oh, how did he avoid that shot? This dungeon is mean sometimes.
And 1UP is on the blind fight. This actually can be a scripted fight as long as you do the exact same stuff every time.
Ooh.
Unfortunately, a couple hits takes it off script.
Yeah. And doing a good job avoiding the fireballs here, which there are a lot of. Nicely done. Void grabbing that heart for safety. Probably going to be good on health, but, you know, with as mean as this dungeon's been already, I respect it.
Meanwhile, Void doing his fight starts on script for phase 1. Still on script after phase 2. And very clean fight there.
So I didn't see their crystal catch times, but it feels like Void made up a little bit of time in that dungeon. Both of them had a couple things go wrong on the overworld. Void's dungeon just a little bit nicer. But we'll know in a minute here.
Now we pick up a bunch of rupees and a better sword.
Yeah, the sword takes a good amount of time to get, actually. About 80 seconds. But it is so good that it saves up all that time and more.
Looking at their times, yeah, Void had a better Thieves Town, but I only think by a couple seconds.
Yeah, and really that's kind of what we expect from a lot of runners at this level is you're not going to make up 20 or 30 seconds in a split, probably. But you'll kind of chip away 2 seconds there, 4 seconds here, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah, need to leave the screen here to get our sword back. They work quickly. Appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, definitely. And you got that nice orange sword. Next up, we'll see if 1UP goes for a fence dash. Nope, not even an attempt. Which is fine.
Yeah. As with anything else, I mean, it's actually about 20 frames slower to not attempt it at all, but getting it is pressing left and A on the same frame, which same frame inputs are impossible, so.
Yeah, it's not really a time saving that's necessarily worth going for. It's more of a, cool, you did that.
Void, not comfortable with that setup. I think he did get 2 frames of left before dashing, so would have bonked. And will mummies behave today? Answer is kind of. The answer is no. The answer is definitely no.
Yeah, 1UP just got slightly off pattern there. They were
Almost,
looking good, but yeah.
Pulling the statue is impossible, so they almost gave a good pattern, but yeah, had to play it very quick, very correctly to get through, which we see done on Void's side there. Nicely done.
That was very nice.
And we don't see the mummy blocking the door, but we do see all the enemies in the way either way. Cool room.
Meanwhile, we blinked and we missed it on one upside. He did a bomb jump, got his fire rod.
Yeah, and saw him intentionally take damage. See V0oid do it as well. That just lets you walk through this ropa, going to the back of the dungeon with no fear. Fire Snake behaves. Nice. Happy with that. Let's see what strat we use here in Mummy Hellway, which is one of the most difficult rooms in the game to execute quickly. Opting for an easy strat here, which, yeah, good. It's like 15 frames slower than the optimal strat, so who cares? Fire Snake does not behave. Costs like about a second or so.
And we got the Mothula fight on one upside. So, standard here, you don't want to hit the moth into the spikes. If you hit in spikes, it takes no damage. Wow, that was quick.
Pretty nice fight there. Especially with an unfriendly moth pattern.
Let's see what V0oid gets.
Oh, that was a single hit. That one should have counted, game. It didn't. Okay, but nicely cleaned up. You know, one day I'll note at what time they catch the crystal instead of what time they finish the text. Yeah, once again here, I feel like V0oid made up probably, just a couple seconds. Mostly due to the mummy room.
Still a good split for one up. The second actually got ahead of an extra second on his PB pace. He's about 9 seconds ahead of PB right now. And we see one up blowing the flute to set up Ice Palace first room to save a little time.
Yeah, it looks like V0oid did make up a few seconds. Nice shield block on that spear. Yeah, great job. Oh, map check.
Oh, they've both done a map check now, so...
But yeah, this overworld, mainly what we're looking to see is no damage taken. Nice shield block on V0oid's side. Aside from blue balls, the RNG has been very similar this run, which is great.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big difference right now between these two, is just 8 blue balls versus 3.
Yeah, and no damage taken so far, which means we're probably in good shape here, but I don't know. This overworld is still pretty dangerous.
Yeah, these Zors don't like to cooperate sometimes.
If you're fast enough, actually, what the Zors do doesn't matter. But it's hard to do this screen fast. We're seeing some really nice dashes on one upside, actually. Don't have to cancel that dash. In fact, you shouldn't. And yeah, V0oid did get Quick Fish, which is a small time save. You don't actually have to throw the rock into the ring, just in the square that surrounds the ring, and it'll count.
One more Zora to get past as one up goes into this portal down here.
And one crab. And Link to the Past proving once again, if you farm a heart, you will get hit. Yeah, there are actually like 3 separate enemies you have to pay attention to on that screen while also trying to move quickly through it. It is not nice.
Anyway, that was why we set up the flute earlier. Just kills that a little faster.
Yeah, Void able to get through without taking damage. We'll see him able to catch up a good bit of time in Ice too. Won't have to wait on the berry to electrify. Can just beam it right away and pick up the key quickly. Now, health is... I mean, we really want full health entering the dungeon. That was dangerously close to getting hit. In the rest of the dungeon, we don't care too much about our health.
It is nice to have...
boss is dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah. It is nice for this one of these upcoming rooms to grab a key with a sword beam. Or a sword beam and enemy so you can grab a key, but that's probably the only other room you really need to worry about the health in.
Yeah, gonna intentionally take probably 2 more damage. We'll get a heart back, so 8 hearts for the boss. Alright, had to adjust a little bit, but did manage to get the bomb jump. Excellently done. Seen beams there, which let you do the room a little bit faster on Void's side.
Void setting up his bomb jump.
Nice hammer buffer. Yeah, through Lonely Firebar, which is a challenging room. On Void's side with beams and pen gators, it's also a challenging room. Gets them all with 1 spin still. Fantastic. That's an excellent Lonely Firebar. That strat is not easy on what Void did. And yeah, here we're going to see the boss of this dungeon, which we hope is going to be over before we can even talk about it. And if it's not, we won't want to talk about it.
Yeah. So you gotta deplete your magic bar to break this ice, and then a spin. Oh no!
A little early.
That's bad. Oh no! As you said, we don't want to talk about that.
And on Void's side, we're seeing what happens when we don't need to talk about it. Fight's already over. Yeah, this is really one of the worst things that can happen. We're out of magic. We're low on bombs. We still need to go all the way back through and basically redo the dungeon 100% again. We don't open up any shortcuts or anything to the boss. So, since we need all of those things, the oftentimes correct decision is to finish Swamp first, which is what we're going to see here. And that'll refill your magic on the crystal cutscene, gives you an opportunity to pick up some bombs. But yeah, it's close to 5 minutes of time loss.
Yeah, that is very unfortunate.
But yeah, so we see oneup collecting Ether, which, and the Ice Rod. So yeah, this is fine. Normally we do it in Swamp because if you manage to take damage on Death Mountain, it's not that concerning. Since we're already a little bit low on hearts, though, like Swamp on 6 hearts is not what we really want. You will take 6 hearts of damage occasionally. Any lower than that, it actually starts to get a little bit scary.
So yeah, with Ether and Ice Rod, oneup heading into Swamp. Still a lot of road to go. Still anything can happen, though. Still, just really unfortunate.
And honestly, just finishing out a run that dies to cold stare, just having the mental fortitude to keep going is good stuff, because if that ever happens in a run, you just smash the reset button.
Exactly. If you die in cold stare in a normal run, you're just like, okay, this run's done. Next. He's going to pick up the bombs in that chest to give him some more bombs for later on.
Yeah, you can get through Ice Palace with 3, but you'd really rather not. So yeah, getting those 3, take them up to 4. Can still up for another one in the dungeon if is so inclined. Now, the one thing about Swamp is we haven't used arrows in a while, so we haven't thought about them in a while, but we do want to get up to 21 arrows leaving this dungeon, just to avoid having to pick up 1 pot later in the run. We actually happen to see on Void's side why beams are still kind of nice to have in Swamp, and you don't really want to take damage on Death Mountain no matter what split you put it in. Sometimes those Water Strider dudes don't get in your way on that dash up, so you have to kind of finish them off with either beams or slashing down. A lot of times you do need the beams to do it quickly still.
Yep, as said, beams are really nice in that room for that reason. This dungeon is one of those dungeons where there's not anything that's extremely dangerous in here, but there's a lot of stuff in here that's just gonna chip away at your health. A heart here, a heart there. And
as we see oneup take 2 hits.
Yeah, it's just these little things that'll add up. It's nice to keep sword beams going into the switch room up here, because it'll save you a little time if you can. But yeah, there's just
nice. Yeah. I mean, I think I've talked about it before, but it's only 8 frames, which is hardly even worth mentioning. But
yeah, it's not a deal breaker if you don't have it, but it's definitely nice. It'll save you a little time if you do. But yeah, like as you said, not really worth mentioning much beyond that.
I'm not sure if Void meant to start that dash. He does need to hit that switch. Okay. I haven't. I'm not sure if I've timed that dashing out of the room. I don't know if that's actually faster or not.
There was a good reason
the switch does save time, so.
Yeah. There was a good reason to be concerned there too. We've seen runners in this tournament forget to hit that switch as they're leaving, and that's another potential big time loss.
Yeah, depending on how long it takes you to notice, almost a little over a minute is kind of the worst case scenario there, which just forgetting one simple thing. And yeah, the health difference here, like being on 4.5 hearts on one upside, okay. I thought that fire snake was gonna hit him.
Yeah, that was impressive dodge there.
It's just the boss doesn't typically hit us, but when the boss does hit us, it's usually 2 or 3 times, and it actually does 2 hearts of damage. So being on lowish health is not encouraging, but like we said, the boss doesn't tend to hit us, so it's not really that big of a deal.
Yeah, it's a relatively safe boss compared to some of the other bosses you gotta deal with in this run.
Okay, well, picking up pots, impossible. Pushing statues, impossible. Doing them at the same time stands to reason that it's still impossible.
Yeah. oneup grabs another bomb along with some arrows. Chooses to pass up on the health, though.
Yeah, and this is why you almost always take a hit in this room. Now being on 3.5 hearts, this is, yeah, not fun. But let's see what happens here. Opting for no zero cycle attempt, which is generally a bit safer, unless Argus charges you as fast as possible.
Yeah, down to 1.5 hearts. Another hit, I believe, will kill him.
Yes, so staying very safe here, staying as far away as possible. Okay, through first phase here. That's a nice zero cycle on Void's side.
Oh, he has no magic because of Ice Palace.
Yeah, this boss. And we saw Void get the zero cycle and then miss the fire rod quick kill. Annoying boss.
Yeah, that's about to at least say. That's part of the reason why we get the Tempered Sword before this dungeon. Because in the vanilla playthrough, this is intended to be your second dungeon. But that fight with Master Sword, well, not terrible. It's slow and annoying.
Theoretically, it's possible to not quite zero cycle with Master Sword, but it's about 400 times harder. So yeah, we'll take the easy way out every time and just get the Tempered Sword.
Exactly.
Yeah. He released his spin like maybe 2 frames early. It was silly, and then Cold Stare happened after that.
Yeah, I think all you gotta say is Cold Stare happened, and I think most people will know exactly what you're talking about.
But yeah, did the smart thing, stocked up on bombs, stocked up on magic. Hopefully remembers he doesn't have to actually do everything in this dungeon, just most things. But yeah, we are going to see basically all of this dungeon again. Alright, remembered the hardest thing, you don't have to kill that jelly. Yeah, on Void side here, we're going to see Mire 2, which is one of the more fun rooms to do in the game, especially to do it quickly. And yeah, very nicely done. The reason we want beams is so that we can do it fast, just like that. And Mire, I think for most players, once they get comfortable with this dungeon, is a nice reprieve from Dark World. Most of the dungeons up to this point have been either challenging or nerve-wracking or both. And for the better part of this dungeon, there's not too much we need to worry about if we're comfortable with the strats.
Yeah, that's pretty fair to say. There are definitely some enemies in here, specifically the Wizrobes, that can do some significant damage. Also, those bomb slugs. But for the most part, it is a bit of a reprieve, at least until Vitreous. I think as a newer player, when you play this dungeon for the first time, though, it is very, very confusing.
Yeah, there's like the big central room with about 100 exits, and they all lead to nowhere.
Yeah, I think Mire is the example of how you kind of throw rooms in that you don't need. There's a lot of rooms that, even as a vanilla or a rando player, you're like, oh, that room exists? I never went through that room.
Alright, now we're on to Cold Stare round 2 on one upside. Hopefully, this goes correctly.
Shells down. Oh, wow, I almost thought he was early again.
Yeah, probably wouldn't have thought he was early if he hadn't missed it the first time. But we're doing okay here.
So yeah, it looks like 1UP is going to be about 4 minutes behind. Little less because Void still has to pick up Ice Rod. Well, 1UP already has done that.
Yeah. Ice Rod, not the most. It's about 40 seconds or so. Yeah, I mean, a few minutes behind, but, you know, Turtle Rock, which is the most dangerous dungeon in the game, in my opinion, can easily take that much time from you if things go incorrectly.
And we see Voidside setting up the spooky action glitch. Which, to be fair, I don't fully know myself yet. That's something I still need to learn, but I kind of get the point of it. Just, you basically set an altitude variable, and with that set, you basically fire your fire rod at specific points to trigger the switch.
Yeah, it looks a little bit involved, but I promise you do it twice and you're like, oh, this is super easy. But here's the Vitreous fight. We're going to start off with a few spins. Excellent. And then I'm going to clean up this last eye. 8 arrows into the big eye here to finish off the fight. And very nicely done. Yeah, great job. Oh, okay. Yeah, yep. The Popo, you know, beams are kind of neat, but they're also ginormous, and it looked like it should have hit that Popo, but the game says, nope, it hit the wall instead. So, kind of throws off the rhythm for a room a little, the rhythm for the room there a little bit. And then, yes, the other Popo just decided to hide inside of the BMOS because, yeah, once they start moving, they just do whatever they want.
Alright, so on Void's side, he's out of Mire, just needs to go pick up his Ice Rod and then up to Turtle Rock.
Looks like the crabs are well behaved, no issues here on this screen. And, you know, there's a couple reasons to put Ice Rod Split here in Turtle Rock. One of which is because we expect to get the fairy, you know, taking one extra heart occasionally is not that big a deal. Here we're going to see Death Mountain for the last time. Thank goodness. We're a little bit better equipped, so it's a little bit more manageable, but Dead Rocks still exists, and boulders still exist, so getting through there, no damage taken, is pretty much what we want.
Yeah, these Dead Rocks for the most part are being nice, but there are, I believe the ones up top are the more annoying ones.
They're all awful.
Okay, that's true.
Sometimes they kind of behave like that, and sometimes they don't, so you just kind of pray a lot of the times. Oh, an extra hit in Spike Room here on 1UP side. Now health is a little bit low. Needs to be a bit careful.
Yeah, 5 hearts going into Vitreous. He's going to grab a heart there for a 6th. But that's definitely a bit of a problem because you need... He might be fine with what he's got, but you definitely want some hearts for damage boosts coming up on this boss.
Yeah, you can get away with as few as 4 hearts taken. Pretty typical is that you'll take 5 in the fight. So it doesn't give you much room for error here. Void keeps beams into this dungeon, using them to defeat enemies, which, yeah, they deserve it.
Now, I do believe Void was the one that got the heart drop in pods, so for his prize pool, his next drop will be a fairy.
That is correct, yeah.
So if he gets on this first pokey, it'll be a little bit of unfortunate timing. Never mind, he just kind of took some damage there.
Yeah, it's a little bit faster to intentionally take damage on the rollers instead of mirroring out. Especially if you know you're due. The fairy? 1-up, please? Oh, no.
Oh, man.
That was one of the widest lightning shots I've seen in a long time. And it barely clipped him. That is really unfortunate.
And you see him kind of just taking a second there to gather himself after that.
Yeah, that's... When this game has it out against you, it really has it out against you. And we're seeing that here on 1-up side today.
Yeah, it's been a rough run for him. I mean, the good news is that regardless what happens in this match, both of these runners are still alive after this match, as this is a winner's bracket match.
Oh, all right. Yeah, Void diagonaled into the door from below. You will get hit 100% of the time if you do that. Yeah. Oh, probably wasn't expecting the arrow drop, so wasn't on the lookout for it. But those arrows would have been nice to have. And on Void's side, we are not even close to being safe in this dungeon just yet. Okay, that slash... Yep. Pokies are weird, but there we go. Cleaned up. This upcoming roller room, I don't know if Void is watching or not, but if he opts for kind of the faster strat here, will have the potential to take a few more hearts of damage. And sometimes you just barely don't go far enough right, and that happens. And
oh man,
messing up any room in Turtle Rock is bad news.
Yeah, he's down to 5 hearts, which isn't terrible. He can at least take one hit from some stuff, but if he loses any more hearts, he's in a like basically one hit KO mode.
Oh yeah, he's gonna take a hit here from this fire bar, so the laser will one-shot him at this point. Yeah. Laser skip, not a free trick.
Yeah, a little off on this or this. Yeah, if this enemy doesn't cooperate, and
yeah, I didn't like the first setup there, bailed out of it, waited for the laser to fire, and then set it up again. Good recognition.
and the mini Helmosaur did not cooperate.
Yeah, he would have been fine if he had hit the cane dash the first time he attempted it, but it was a second try cane dash, so that gave the mini Helma enough time to get in position to block the shot.
Right. Trinex here for Void. Going for the backdoor strat.
So 5 hits to clean off the first head, 4 hits to clean off the second one because magic, and 2 spins and a slash to finish off the head here, or 1 spin and 3 slashes, which is what we don't want to see. There's both spins, there's our slash. Nice fight.
And so as Void is finishing up Turtle Rock, 1-up's on his way up there.
And the overworld hasn't been friendly so far. And we've still got to get past like 6 dead rocks. So, all right, we might have to talk about Void's crystal catches a little bit because he is in the text, which is not where you want to be. You can actually get more in the text than that, but we won't curse the viewers with images like that.
Alright, so one up enters Turtle Rock as Void is opening GT.
Yeah, and GT is a very challenging dungeon to do quickly. I would say not too common for runners to die in this dungeon. So probably not too worried about that. But if the worst comes to pass, you could die at the very top, which would be a pretty significant setback.
Yeah, I think I know at least one has been tortured enough in this seed. So is Void, though. With 8 blue balls, you can't really say he hasn't been.
No, oh, please, okay. All right, messing up the roller room. I don't know if mirroring out is 1UP's typical strategy, but once you've messed it up, mirroring out is essentially the same amount of time as trying to damage boost through, but much safer. I'm not sure this is going to work, yeah. That worked? Oh, Void's a legend. I am very surprised.
There's a fairy drop for 1UP as Void grabs another key.
Yeah, coming up to one of the most important rooms in Gan's Tower, which is Ice Armos fight, because doing it consistently makes the Ganon fight consistent, which doesn't seem like it makes sense, but it does. So, I'm going to want to see that. Oh, taking a hit from the Anti-Fairy, which is fine. It's just one hit, not a big deal. Opting for that arrow chest, which is slightly faster than the other one. So yeah, once again, 18 arrows into Ice Armos here, or into the Armos. Pretty good fight. 1 extra arrow, which we won't miss. We don't even need the 10 we've got. Oh, well, we're getting the backup arrows just in case, because why not?
Yeah, playing it very safe.
And going from one of the most important to one of the hardest. Mimics 1 and Mimics 2 are extremely challenging to do quickly.
Yeah, I still struggle on these rooms a bit.
Looking for a little bit of safer strat in both those rooms, but still very nicely done. It's an unconventional spike room strat, but gets him through, no damage. That's all we're looking for.
Yeah, just yeah, as I said, no damage. Already down 4 hearts, not a big deal though.
Yeah, I mean we're intending to be down 3 normally, so.
Okay.
Yeah, gotta be a little bit careful in Gauntlet here. The Zazaks are not friendly and they will hurt you. And these enemies just like to get away from us. Okay, we're through here, Gauntlet 2, no problem. Shoutouts to the Fire Rod AoE displacement effect.
Also got the magic pot drop to replenish that fire rod shot.
Oh, fortunate hit there. Demos might see him. Oh, yeah. Room is tricky once it gets a little bit out of hand, but down to 5 hearts. This is I have confidence in Void, but not the most comfortable situation. Oh, excellent job with Lamo was there. Okay, I'm taking a hit on Trinex, but cleans up the first phase right here. Doesn't quite get the double spin, but knows how to handle it afterwards. Nicely done. Torches room here for Void. Doesn't seem like there's much to it, but oh, very nicely done. Beating the fire bar with that dash down is not trivial.
Some magic refill. Needs to grab a key from the mini helmets in this room. Or no, he doesn't. There's another key, right?
Yeah, in the chest here. Which for most runners is going to be the fastest key. Technically, the mini helmet key is faster, but only if you're skipping this magic. Most runners are going to want that magic, so it's the key's right in our way, just in case you mess everything else up. Good Moldorm 2 fight. And off to the Aghanim fight number 2, where hopefully we get at least a couple fewer blue balls than we did the first time.
I mean, at least Aga 2, you can at least 3-cycle pretty much almost every time, at minimum.
Yeah, because we do have the clones here, we always have some opportunity to hit this boss, but the patterns, alright, that's not the friendliest of pattern, but very nicely handled. This one can be a bit challenging, especially if we get a blue ball, which we did not. Also nicely handled. This one a bit simpler, and if only Aga 1 had given us 0 blue balls, right?
Yeah. It would have been much nicer, but Void's through Ganon's tower, and it's just a Ganon fight left to go.
Yeah, the Ganon fight, pretty challenging to do consistently all of the time, but we're going to start off with 12 hits in the first phase, and hopefully Ganon, we're going to see a 1-in-1 here, gets the 3 hits, the double spin, very nice, going to need 5 hits here. You've got just enough time before the second phase starts, going to need 12 more hits, okay. Yep.
So that's bad for a couple reasons. I mean, he'll drop back in really quickly, but unfortunately this is going to change Ganon's patterns.
Yeah, we talked about the Ice Armos fight. It does set what those fire bats do, so that is always consistent. But as soon as they spawn in and start moving around, those patterns change. And with downwards Ganon here, I have no idea what to expect.
Yeah, this is going to be tricky to 1-cycle.
I think that's maybe 1 hit short, but I don't know how to count, so...
He did get it.
It counts better than I do. So yeah, Ganon's going to warp around a little bit. We need to hit him every time he stops warping. One more hit here. Ganon will send away all of the floor, and we will need to light the left torch before the right one goes out. As our final little trick of the run here.
Tried to get the early hit, but didn't. Does get the torch glitch, though.
Yeah, so from here, going to need 12 spins to finish off this fight. Up to 2. Our goal is to get 3 spins with every torch lighting right here. It is possible on every Warp RNG, but some of them are very difficult. And we're looking, just a little far away. A little bit slow, but looking pretty good here. I wish I knew how to count so I could tell you how many were left, but I've got no idea.
Yeah, I kind of lost count too there.
There we go. Nice run from V0oid.
And as he crosses the bridge, official time of... Looks like we got 127.32.
Yeah, which is a fantastic run for losing, a full minute to the Aghanim fight.
Yeah, that was the story of this race. I mean, oneup had the advantage early with his with the Aga fight, getting 3 blue balls to V0oid's 8, but then unfortunate deaths in Ice Palace and Mire is what really was the difference in this one. And as oneup stops on his screen, we can confirm that he forfeited right after that.
Yeah, and honestly, good on him for continuing this far. It is so difficult to try to finish a run when, the unthinkable happens, so...
And looks like we're going to get both of them in here for an interview in just a minute. So, as we mentioned earlier, V0oid will advance to face This Is Not Yoho in 5th round of winner's bracket, while oneup will fall to the loser's bracket and will face the winner of Liam Atlas and Someone 325. That game's still to be played.
And we are joined by both of the runners here. GG's to both of you. Nice run, V0oid.
Thanks.
Yeah, GG. Kind of unfortunate events there, but yeah, that was a good game.
Yeah, that ended up being another close race, so that's cool. Well, actually, I guess you forfeited, but I thought you finished. Honestly, my bad.
Yeah. So I don't know if you were watching at all. The big differences here was, first of all, Aga. If you want to talk about that at all.
Yeah. I got 8 blue balls, and that sucked.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. How many did you get?
I think it was 3.
Okay. Yeah, I would have liked 3, because, like, my 12 was bad, but it was, like, manageable as long as I didn't lose a truck ton of time to Aghanim, and, well, so much for that.
Yeah. But, so yeah, it was about a 20-30 second lead for oneup for a while until Ice Palace and Mire, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're just a little bit early on the spin oneup. I'm sure Cold Stare doesn't normally go like that, but
Yeah, I think the problem was like being in the race and everything. Like I rushed the fire rod shots at the beginning, and since I missed the one fire rod shot, I forgot to adjust the spin to make up for it.
yeah, it's just tough. I don't know. Managing nerves in a race setting is also really tough, so...
Yeah, for sure.
And you were almost too early on the second time through, too. You had us worried a little bit.
Yeah, the same thing kind of happened there where I missed one of the early fire rod shots again, but I kind of remembered to adjust that time and kind of waited a beat before releasing the spin.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, I'm trying to think what else. I mean, V0oid, you were pretty close to your PB aside from Light World and, the end game, which is nobody's ever lost time in end game, right?
Right, yeah. I was keeping up in Dark World until Toro Rock. My Toro Rock was pretty bad, and then I was able to save some time in GT, and then I took a death on Ganon because I messed up phase 2, but because it was a phase 2 death, I was like, that's fine. all things considered, like rip potential gold split, but I like at least it's not like falling in phase 4 or something like that.
Yeah. So I don't know who organized these brackets. Blame Blaine, but you get to play Yoho next, which
Yeah, it's the brackets of rematches. Yeah. I had a nice palace party last time I raced Yoho, so hopefully that doesn't happen. I put a lot of practice into Ice Palace, so.
I mean, your Ice Palace in this one was excellent. Was it 615 or so?
It was either a 615 or a 616. Yeah, like I if it wasn't for the overworld, like I always say that if it's not for the overworld, like I could beat like probably my Thieves Town split, my Ice Palace split, my Swamp Palace split. It's just like there's always one thing that goes wrong in the overworld, and that kind of screws everything up. But yeah, the dungeon itself was really good.
Yeah, and I think oneup you're waiting on your next opponent.
Yeah, I haven't checked the brackets, but yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if I still have to wait to see yeah, who the next one's gonna be.
Yep, it'll be either Liam Atlas or someone 325.
Ooh,
All right.
my boy Liam.
Yeah, that should be a good match with either of those. So yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Okay, yeah. Any last thoughts from either of you?
Aghanim sucks, and that's about all I have to say. Yeah, good race, OneUp.
Did he suck? I'll add that.
And yeah, I guess thanks for having us, and thanks for streaming the race. Thank you for the commentary as well. I'll probably go back and watch it.
Yeah, yeah, it's good stuff. We were happy to watch.
Yeah, GG to you both as well. And yeah, good luck in the next rounds of the tournament.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Is this my cue to come in and tell everybody what's happening tomorrow?
Sure is, yep.
We have got a very busy schedule on the ZSR network of channels tomorrow. We have 7 races happening. Starting off bright and early at 9 a.m. Eastern, we've got the Ocarina of Time Randomizer Standard EU Weekly. Coming up at noon tomorrow, we have more A Link to the Past NMG tournament action with Rob J. Beasley versus Negazeus. At 1 p.m., we have got the Ocarina of Time Randomizer Standard Tournament loser semifinals. We got Pink Kitty Rose versus Ryukane. At 2 p.m. Eastern, we've got the Minish Cap Randomizer Weekly Race. At 3 p.m., we've got the Wind Waker Randomizer Bi-Weekly Fun Race. Also at 3 p.m., we've got the Skyward Sword Randomizer Tournament Bracket Round 1. Oh goodness, this doesn't even fit on the screen because we got a double matchup going on. It's Your Average Link versus Deer and Matt Strats versus Battle Cats. That is a mouthful. We've got that double feature going on. And then later on in the day at 4 p.m., we're still looking for volunteers and trying to figure out what channel everything's going to fit on. But hopefully we will be showing off more A Link to the Past NMG tournament with Winners Bracket Round 4, Kyong 92 versus Shady Force. So hopefully we will have a ton of fun all across ZSR. If you aren't already following Zelda Speedruns, Zelda Speedruns 2, Zelda Speedruns _3, hint hint, you're here right now, and Zelda Speedruns _4. We have too damn many channels, and so many races that we're actually going to be using them all tomorrow, so thank you so much to our runners, V0oid and oneup, for putting on an amazing show. That was edge of your seat race through a lot of that. There was some real heartbreak in there, but it was a really fascinating race to watch. And thank you to the commentators here who keep a dummy like me apprised of what is even happening. So thank you both. And so, I think with that, we will call it a night, and I will send you on your merry way. Looks like over at Zelda Speedruns 1, they have the Zelda 2 Randomizer weekly going on. That looks to still be happening, so I will send you on your way there. Y'all have a wonderful night.